Welcome to the Freedom Savage Podcast.
I don't wanna talk.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Douglas, or you can call me Freedom. Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 5 of my podcast. Y'all already know we're going to get into some tea. I got some amazing guests this episode, per usual. We got another little special guest here. This is actually my sister's teddy bear plushie, but looks amazing. So it's probably going to be co-hosting. You guys already know the drill. Like this video, share this video, comment below this video, and subscribe to my channel because you need me. Importantly, us. Alrighty, let's get into our first segment.
Please get up.
Hi, Shay.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I just wanted to say thank you so much for making the time to do this. I decided to start this first segment off with some family in the chat. She is also the person that did my hair and has it looking so amazing. Shay, you could introduce yourself and give your pronouns.
My name is Shay. Pronouns is she, her. I am cousin-in-law to Baby. And that's about it. I am a legal assistant for a shipping company. And that's it.
You're also an amazing hairstylist.
Yes.
Here, I would say, don't forget that. She'll hook you up with the
Yes, I do twist locks in my spare time.
Yes. Yes. And she is the best at it. Oh my God. Love her talent. Love her skill. I specifically wanted to speak to a woman about this topic because I know it's such a touchy topic and it's going on right now. But before I even get into that, I'm actually going to start off with the first thing. I want to know truly, is that card out here in the background?
Yes, that's correct.
That's exactly who I was about to ask about. I want to know first, how is it being a mom?
Okay, so it has its days. I don't regret having him for anything. Like, I love him so much. I feel like what people don't understand about being a mom is that there's no breaks. And I feel like there's people that talk about stuff like, you chose this life, like you knew what you were getting into when you choose this life. But I feel like you don't really know until you physically have that situation presented to you. And so in terms of me, like I came from always positive and, not really a stressful life. And now it completely changed where I'm just like, some days it's like negative, some days it's really stressful, some days it's depressing. And there's other days where it's super exciting and everything is nice. And, so in terms of like motherhood, yes, I love it. But there are days where I'm just like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but his little face, makes me feel better at the end of the day.
Y'all need to know that Carter is the cutest baby of all time. Oh my God. My cousin Naya, we video chatted so much and I always saw Carter in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Talking now is like just beyond me. The fact that he's actually able to like move around is beyond me. He's so adorable. You want to know something? I told myself that if I was to ever have kids, it'll be a maximum of 2. Mm-hmm. But I'm very scared to have children, only because if they was anything like me when I was younger, then no problem. Because I was a tyrant. Oh my God. I don't even know how my family did it. When you're actually in that moment and you're young, you're not thinking. But once you grow up and you actually look back on it, like I don't think I could have ever babysat myself. I don't think I could have ever truly raised a child like me. I don't think I could have ever did it. So shout out to my parents for accomplishing that.
I feel like for me, like what happened with me was I've been working a job. I've been having the same job since I was 18 years old. And so for me, it felt like I was working for years and I had nothing to show for it. It sounds weird saying it like I needed Carter in that sense because I was just partying and having fun and I was just like, what's next though? Like what else can I do? And I really just wanted a kid and that's kind of how like Carter came around. But at the same time, there are days where it's like you really sit and think about like how the world, like having a kid makes you vulnerable because things I wasn't scared of, like being in crowds and being in like, like mixy places. Now I'm just like, no, I have to make it home to my son. Like, no, I can't be in these areas. So it's just like in that case, he did mature me and like really open my eyes to the stuff that I was doing where it's just like, yeah, like I wouldn't do those things in a million years right now. Like
It makes sense. Like one of my friends specifically, she always vents to me about her mother, and she never really knew her mother, at least from like family members and stuff. She never really knew her mother to be so overprotective. But her mother always told her, once you have a child, you're gonna understand
mm-hmm.
new changes. And to be honest with you, I could see it, especially, and I feel like I'm not gonna lie, because a lot, my sister and all of her friends, they're very afraid to have a girl because they personally prefer all of them, literally all of them personally prefer boys because they said that they're easier to raise in a sense. Because of girls, you have to worry about so much more. And there's so much stuff happening in this world. You have so much violent things being done to women alone. And it's like, wow, with boys, it's kind of like it's a little bit easier. They face the same amount of danger in their own way, but it's a little bit easier with boys from what they say. To be honest with you, I don't know. I just feel like my child is going to be crazy either or, but I do know that responsibilities change, priorities change when you have a child because they have to be number one. And that's not always easy. That's not always easy. And speaking to my mom, having to be a single mom, raising 4 kids, I don't know. It's one thing I praise Black mothers so much. It's incredible. Like just to see y'all power and just to see y'all do it and to see y'all wake up every day and do it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
I completely understand you because things that you never thought that you had to think about, you are thinking about. And that's why like now when my friends are like, oh my God, Carter's so cute. Like I want a kid too. And I'm just like, please don't do that. Like don't don't do that. Like like it's more like giving advice. At the same time, it's just like I can't tell nobody not to have a kid because like I was 27 going on 28 and so I felt like I was ready. People have had kids younger than me and I'm just like they're clearly doing it and they're fine and they're getting themselves together and now I'm just like I'm still older than them and I'm just like no they're realistically still getting themselves together because it's not easy and you're right like every day like people think of having children and having a big family at that too and I'm just like I'm gonna keep it real with you. I cannot think about having another kid until I figure Carter out and I didn't figure him out and I'm okay with admitting that. In my head is just like, a kid is not someone that you can get rid of. That's your specific kid. And so what if I don't like his personality? like it's okay to admit those things. And it's just like, what if I don't like his personality? Like, why would I have another kid and didn't even fully understand Carter yet? Like he's not speaking. Like I don't fully know him yet. So I don't know how other women can jump into having another kid, but to each his own, like
Absolutely.
I really want to take my time with him and make sure I fully understand him before I even think about having another. And I want to make sure he has private memories with me alone before I put another kid in the mix where he's just like, oh, I didn't have enough time with mommy.
And that's your choice to make, and it makes sense.
Yeah. And then there's also things I think of where people think about having a baby, and I'm just like, okay, well, after the baby phase is gone, you have to think about having a toddler. You have to think about having a preteen. You have to think about having a teenager, and you have to think about having another adult. And people just think, including me, people just think like, oh, a baby's easy. Like I can afford these things. And it's just like, next step, you have to think about, is your baby going to be autistic or is your baby going to be fine? Is your baby going to be a slow walker, a slow talker? Like all those things is on your mind. Then it's like, oh, daycare and like everything else. Like people just think about literally having a baby and, oh, I can dress them up and it'll be the flyest baby and it'll be the coolest baby or whatever the case is, the
Looking
cutest.
at the surface of it all.
Yeah. And it's just like now seeing about it, it's just like, yeah, as I'm going through it, it's just so much more than to have a baby.
Yes.
But it's she or he is not always going to be a baby.
Some of my friends don't ever see themselves having kids, period. Now, their minds could change because everybody's mind changes. You know, Cardi B also said she wasn't going to have no kids. And here she is having two, talking about she ready to have more. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So everybody always says that at first. But then when you grow up, you know, you realize you probably want one or you probably don't. It's your life and it's your decision to make. But, you know, it is a lot to factor in when taking in kids. And that's why I said before, just like shout out to, you know, moms like you and moms like my mother and Shawnee's mother. Shout out to my cousin Shawnee. Black women specifically, it's an extra obstacle. It's an extra layer placed on top.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Placed on top. And it's simply because of our race. That makes it 80 times more challenging than anything. And I'm glad that you actually spoke about the good and bad parts of it. You know what I mean? Because it's okay to acknowledge the bad parts. It's not saying that, you know, you regret it, but it's challenging. It's not going to be.
Yeah, I definitely don't regret it. I just feel like it's so much. I'm an overthinker. And so every day I'm just like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? I'm definitely a person that like can't sit and be like, oh, I'm just going to wait until the situation comes. I need to know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm literally always sitting here like, you know, Sean is always like, you know, take a back seat, like learn to relax. And I'm just like, there's no way I can relax. Like time goes so fast. And he's literally going to be 2 in a couple of months. And, you know, I'm thinking about what happens when he turns 2. Where will he go? Who's the babysitter? Like the clothes he'll have to wear, like what size? And yeah, it's always a thinking process and what's to come. Because again, he's not going to be a baby forever. So you have to think about what's the best for him as he's growing.
I wanted to also circle back to something that you said earlier, because I feel like it'll be a great transition into my next question. Earlier, you said that, which I think is one of the smartest things that I've ever heard, say that you want to figure Carter out before having another kid. And it's totally your choice because it's your body. Speaking of that, it seems like women's bodies has been the topic of a lot of people who it really going to be their business lately. Yes. I just wanted to know, what are your thoughts on the whole abortion problem that's happening right now? I cannot believe that it's happening right now. You would think something like that would have happened centuries ago. The fact that it's happening right now, it's adding
it's crazy
list of everything that I hate about this country. So
yeah, honestly, my opinion is literally to each its own. Like, I don't judge women for getting abortions, especially due to circumstances. You never know the reason as to why. Even if you're in a relationship with someone and, you know, you guys been going for years and that happens and you choose to have an abortion. Like, I just feel like to each its own. Like, I feel like it's literally a woman's choice or a woman and a partner's choice. You know what I mean? I just feel like it should be for the person to think about, because at the end of the day, where are these villages that we used to have back then? Like, people want to tell you, oh, have kids, and, you know, why don't you have kids, and why? And you know, just asking you a bunch of questions about your business. And it's just like, at the end of the day, you're not going to help me. You're literally not going to help me with this kid. And friends too. Like, you know, like there's a lot of people that lost friends during pregnancy. And as soon as the baby came, like no one was around to help. But those same people that was planning for your baby, is, you know, and happy for you, they're really not there. And it's not fair. It's really not fair, because at the end of the day, no one is going to go through those feelings with you. No one is going to help you. Not saying no one, but you're not going to have as much help as you think you will have. Now, in terms of the situation, like, I get it. There are some people who have abortions carelessly, and that's not okay. But again, to each his own. If
Yeah.
that's the life that you choose to have, then there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like it's good that they have that option for women, but they're probably doing it for people who's carelessly doing it. I've known a girl in high school who've had about 9 throughout the span of high school. Now, again, that's extreme, you know. But again, she was in high school. She knew that she didn't want one, but at that time, it's just like, you know, why not take precautions to avoid these situations? So I don't know. I really feel like it's no one's business but the person who's going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like it's not fair to, you know, try to make that choice for someone else when
It's not.
you're not living that person's life, you know, especially like situations like, or, you know, just not fully being ready and then having to like struggle. Like the system doesn't really help us, especially Black people.
You don't. And it's like, where can you really turn? I'm not going to lie. Like I said before, I feel like with so many things happening in this country, I cannot believe that that's everyone's focal point. I feel like there's so many other things in the country alone that could be paid more attention to. But you guys are worrying about abortion rates. And I just saw that in Texas, was it Texas or some state? It was on the Shade Room. And they said some men in some states, like as soon as like the Roe versus Wade like law came about in their state, a lot of men started getting vasectomies.
Yes, I did see that. And it was just like, honestly, I kind of get where they're coming from because it's like you want to take that extra precaution. But in my head, it's just like, why wasn't y'all doing this before? Like, why wait until this situation? I just feel like people were taking advantage of abortions in that case. You know what I mean? Like, you're having too much fun and you're not taking the precautions you need to avoid the situation, which is why they're probably doing it. I'm not okay with it, but if you were so strict about not having children, why didn't you get this vasectomy years ago? Yeah. Why weren't you using condoms? Like, you know?
I'm not gonna lie, you make a really interesting point. I never really saw it in that light. Now that you really bring it about, probably playing devil's advocate. Sometimes people make decisions and then in the span of, you know, time, they change. You know what I mean? So and so years ago, a couple could have been like, yeah, let's have a kid. You know, let's have multiple.
Right.
They get pregnant multiple times. And then they're like, multiple times we're not going to do it. You know,
right.
Circling back to how you said before, everybody, it's really their business. It's really a woman's choice whether or not she wants to go that route. Decisions aren't written in stone. They could have thought they wanted kids. They could have thought that they wanted to be pregnant, you know, so and so times. People have the right to change their mind. We're living in a country where y'all claim that we have the right to do whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Freedom of speech and stuff. Like,
so it's like,
no, you're completely right. I definitely agree with you.
Because I'm not a woman. I don't like what's going on, obviously. But I see it from a perspective where it's like, if I was really in that case, would I want my rights taken away? Because like you said, given the circumstances, you have women who are sexually at a young age. And they may not be physically ready to take a baby, and them having a baby wasn't even in their control or their decision. So an abortion would be a way out so they could continue living their life. There are different scenarios at hand here. But that scenario, which I see as one of the most important, you know.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Would you rather, even though you are not a woman, how would you feel? Would you rather children, because if they get through with this abortion law and everything, would you rather more kids in the system? Because you know how kids are being in the system. They're like,
I'm saying.
And so that would really be it. It's just like, would you rather avoid these situations or would you rather a kid being in the system? It's not guaranteed how they'll be treated. Like they could be treated well. You know, there are nice people in the world, but there are also evil people in the world.
Yeah.
And
That was
so
my biggest question.
people usually adopt kids for the money or for whatever sick reasonings, you know. Some people don't always have good intentions. And I think I would rather a kid being aborted than to put them into the system.
And then have them possibly be hurt or treated like crap or worse, you know?
Because they could have been with me struggling. God forbid. You know what I mean? Like but you're not giving me the option. So now I'm just gonna put a bunch of kids in the system. And then when that rate go up, what's gonna be the option next? If you get rid of abortions and then you get rid of too much kids going into the system because the rates are high, what will be the next problem?
Talk about it. I'm also worried for those women out there that might do it illegally and possibly hurt themselves.
That's very true as
Going to
well.
have more, God forbid, more fatalities. The country will have more fatalities on their hand.
Or you might have more. It probably will be more women that's like, you know what, I'm just gonna kill myself then.
Yeah.
You know,
incarceration. They're going to keep locking up women for what? I've literally went on TikTok and I saw, oh, this girl in so-and-so country had a baby and she's now arrested for like 30 years. And it's like, are you kidding me when there are actual criminals out here?
Yeah, that's really crazy. Like,
oh, like I was like, are you kidding me? You have to be actually kidding me. I was like, this is disgusting. And to be honest with you, I think what really scares me about the whole abortion topic is just the fact that I don't know where this country is going. Like, it's giving very fascist. It's giving very, like, this is slowly, I mean, it hasn't been for years. They try to make it seem like it is, but this country hasn't been a democracy for a minute now. At least I'm not feeling like it. So to be honest with you, I don't even know where we turn. I do not know where we go from that. But going into my next question for you, do you feel like the US is a great place to even raise a kid?
Not at all. Not at all. Like, if I had to choose, well, you know, my mom is from Trinidad. If I had to choose, I would definitely go back home. The education alone is better. Like I hear about, you know, Sean is a teacher, you know, Ty is a teacher, and I have plenty of friends that are teachers as well. And I think about what I hear from them and how they don't even really learn in school anymore. Like they basically just put on YouTube in class and they let YouTube do the work. And I'm like, excuse me, what are you even telling me? And so like education alone, no. Me raising a Black son and having a Black husband, no. Like, I don't feel like there's any place in America for my Black family. Yeah. I don't think it's safe here. I don't feel safe here. I feel like we want to leave New York, but we don't know where to go because New York is the most diversified state. Anywhere out of New York, we don't know what we're going to come across. And so I feel the safest in New York.
Unfortunately, it's somewhat convenient.
Exactly. If I felt like this before having a kid, I wish I thought about all these topics before I had a kid, because I probably would have said no. I probably would have never like had the kid because of all the things that my eyes are so open to now.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on in the world, and it's just sad, honestly, when you see like people not being able to take care of, like, you know, childcare being so expensive, and childcare is definitely the same amount as rent. And it's really, really ridiculous. And all of those things I didn't, you know, take into consideration. And it's just not a place. I feel like if they really wanted to help families in New York or even in America, they could have done better. Look at Canada with healthcare. If I had to choose, it definitely wouldn't be America. It's not the place
It's not
for
it.
me. It's not.
Not it at all. Not it at all. My hope is that we can't stop all the evil in this world, but I do hope that most of it, if not some of it, just gets dimmed down in the future. That way it is easier for kids to grow up and know that the world isn't all that shit. You know what I mean? Like that's always the hope. That's always the goal for me. I don't dream of the world being utopia because I do believe that sometimes you need a little bit of little bit of the bad to keep a balance. I feel like if things were too good, that it'll also be a problem. But then again, I feel like we could do way better without all of the evil that we see now.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're correct. In general, it's not easy to have a kid. And so like people really needs to just think about all these situations that we're talking about. Yeah. Because if you're like me, a person who didn't think of any of this, I just thought that, yes, I could afford one. All these topics or the news in general is an eye opener. And I'm just like, wow, I had no clue about this. I did not know about this either. Like, thank God for this, but what about this?
If you were in the government and you had the option to help participate in making certain decisions for children, and so kids can grow up easier in this country, what decisions would you make? What would you offer or suggest?
I honestly feel like childcare is a real issue in New York. Well, in America. Like, I have so much problems finding daycare where it's reasonable. Like reasonable. Yes. Like it's really, I feel like what they're offering to me, yeah, it sounds good. Like, you know, you get free food for the day and free snacks and, you know, they teach him things, obviously, but I just don't feel like that's worth $1,500 a month.
Oh yeah, no.
when you know when, yeah, like when rent is in New York at least $1,500 and up, and so then in my case, like the other day, I went to the welfare office to see if I can get a voucher for my kid, and they said no because I don't have other cases open, which, you know, as in food stamps. And when I tried to apply to food stamps, they told me I make too much when realistically I don't. I can't get help with food stamps, which ultimately means I can't get help with childcare, which means right now I got to figure out where's he going to go so that I can afford my rent. And so stuff like that I think about a lot. Like I feel like childcare, they have failed us. I feel like housing system, they have failed us
tremendously.
I feel like what else have they failed us with? I feel like
everything.
Yeah, basically, like I feel like all the things that Black people really need, like not everybody. I feel like they need to like give us reputations back.
Yeah.
I feel like we have so much things that we need to work on. It's not just one topic. We can go on for hours about things that like we're not getting help with and they expect us to just figure it out.
Our downfall was definitely planned. They set this in motion years ago.
Yeah, of course.
You know, they knew that a lot of these outcomes were going to come about. It'll be those same people in charge that'll be like, well, just be lucky that you have a roof over your head. Be lucky that, you know, you have this, and that. Let me tell you something. Would you like to have your family in these conditions? Would you like to struggle like this with your kids? You shouldn't say that. I feel like once you're actually in the situation, you will know how difficult it is to not only be Black in New York, but like you said, be Black and raise children in New York. But because you're so head smart, you know, I see you as a very strong woman, and I think you're an amazing mom. I think Carter is in awesome hands, amazing hands. I think he's blessed to have a person as smart as you, as hands-on as you. And I think he's blessed to have a father as charismatic and strong like Shawnee, Carter is going to go very far. And yeah, I just,
Thank you.
I see big blessings for y'all entire family. And I'm glad that you actually got on this podcast with me to, talk about this because, it's not what all that glitters isn't gold.
Basically. At first, I was shy, but thank you. I really do appreciate the opportunity to come up here and to talk to you about this situation. I do want to tell like mothers out there that like it is okay to not be okay. You don't have to feel like you have to be so strong every day. It's okay to have days where you break down and cry. It's okay to like, you know, vent to people, even though you feel like people may tell you like it's okay, like that's what you signed up for. Like it's okay to like get things off your chest, whether or not it's to your mom, to yourself. Just don't let your kids see you crack. Like, and I also want to tell moms out there that like don't try to compare your kids to other people's kids. It's so easy to just because your kid isn't on the same level as anyone else's kid doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. Just give them the time and things will work out. Things take their time and it's everything will be okay. Like literally it doesn't rain forever. The sun does come out and you're going to have days where you're going to feel really great and you're going to love your kid always. But it really is okay to not be okay. And it's okay to admit that as well, too.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Absolutely. I have nothing to say. I will never have the right to even speak on stuff like that because I ain't no mom. I'm lucky that I'm the dad. I don't even got to worry about carrying the kid. So to be honest with you, y'all, it's like I said, y'all body, y'all right, y'all choice. How can they reach you? See what you're up to.
Instagram is _fire.shay. And if there are moms out there that do want to speak to me or, even ask for advice, even a vet, like I speak to random people all the time and I'm okay with someone writing me and venting or, just being a friend because I do need more mom friends, So
people that share the same experiences with you, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. It's easier to vent to people who already know what you're going through. Because again, a lot of people put a hype up to mom life, but they are bad days, and it's okay to speak to someone. So again, you can write me at _fire.shay. 1Y.
Also get to have you need your head. But yes, other than that, oh my God, thank you so much for joining my podcast. Thank you so much, Shay. I love you. Tell Carter I love him. Tell Shawnee I love him. That I said hi.
We love you too. And thank you again for this opportunity.
Absolutely. You done took this segment to a whole nother level. I love that I had a mom on here. Yeah. Thank you.
I got plushie.
Hey, y'all. We are in my next segment. This is Freedom of Speech Part 2. I just wanted to quickly say, y'all already know I say this every episode. If y'all hear noise in the back, my neighborhood is very loud today, and my brother is also making a lot of noise, and I can't control it. So if need be, I will mute myself, but y'all already know the tea. I really can't control it. So, hey. Joining us with this segment is a very familiar face, as y'all already know, because she's been on several of my videos. Introduce yourself and give your pronouns. She also now has to jump to put her jeans on. Shout out to Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, yeah.
Period. We love the little cameo you're giving us, too. We love it. I'm not editing that out, by the way.
Okay. Pushy gotta get clean, but I always sleep on plushie.
Yes, we have our plushies joining us for this episode. You already know.
Pronounce she, her. They call me Elizabeth or Liz. It doesn't matter. Find me on YouTube and Instagram, and every other social media is in progress at the moment.
We got another familiar face back right now. Y'all thought y'all weren't going to see her, but y'all seeing her. Give it up for my girl Lisa. Now, per usual. for the yes.
Oh, oh, it's so funny.
Yes, we got all the plushies in the house tonight. Period. My first guest was my cousin Shay, and she is a mom. Amazing mom. She also did my hair, as I told everybody. Shay did my hair today. We had a very great conversation about abortion, and I kind of wanted to extend the questions, even though you are not a mom. How do you feel, and never really experienced abortion, how do you feel about the issue of abortion happening right now in this country?
It's getting scary, and it's like I don't want them to be like, oh, you can't like abort your child, and like if you have like a miscarriage, like you're gonna be sent to jail. I was like, what? You could be sent to what? I was like, okay. So what happens if I have a miscarriage, or if I feel like I want to have an abortion? What the fuck is gonna happen? And then to the people that also had like miscarriages and past abortions, like, is that gonna count for them? Like, I was like, what is going on? So I was like, it's scary to see it. I was like, what the fuck is happening? That's like my thoughts on it.
I'm not your daughter, I'm not your sister, I'm not your mother, I'm not your cousin, I'm not your stepsister. Why do you care what happens in my vagina? Why do you care what happens in my uterus? Are you gonna pay for this baby? Are you gonna be here? No. Are you gonna give me money when this baby gets sick? Oh, Jesus Christ. So, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's so
Period on the dot. Is that a period on
yeah. Yeah. That's better than my answer. I was like,
I already explained my points in the first segment. So I'm actually going to repeat this because I felt like this needs to really be thought about. In the first segment, I actually said that I'm really scared of what this country is becoming because it being a democracy is out the window. So now it's like, where do we stand? Because it's giving fascist, it's giving early 1800s, it's giving everything.
It's just going backwards. It's like going backwards.
That it is your choice whether or not you want to abort a child, whether or not you want to keep a child. It is your choice. And you know what I find so disrespectful? Women of all colors, all shapes and sizes. Generations don't go along without women. Society always shit on women when women are the reason why we're here. It took women carrying, and it's always these disgusting ass men in power. Women carried y'all ugly asses in their bellies for 9 to 10 months and had to push you out of them. One of the most horrible pains, I'm pretty sure, next to periods. Some women who have died from childbirth. You're going to sit there and tell me that they don't have a choice? Come on now. What? You got to be out of your damn mind. Since when? Out of everything that's happened in this country, since when?
They'll be like, oh, I'm scared that everybody's lesbian, I'm scared that nobody wanna, and then they wanna adopt, but they don't wanna make their, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Please.
There's too many people on this earth. Why the fuck are you worried about who baby and what baby and the fuck baby?
What are y'all gonna do? And this is another point that we made during the first segment. So y'all would rather foster care rates go up, suicide rates go up, and incarceration rates go up?
Exactly.
Because that's going to be the next problem if y'all do this. You see, and that's the one thing that this country fails to recognize, that there's a domino effect for when you do shit. It'll knock over other and cause other problems to happen. And it needs to be talked about. This country is already doing everything wrong. So can we just not do this? Going to gear a lot of that energy into our next segment. All right, y'all, we are in our next segment, but we are still going to continue our convo. But this time we're going to change gears a little bit. This is Freedom Flashback. The Freedom Flashback topic is adulting and having to be an adult and have responsibilities. This is another important topic that I also think ties into the theme of having choices, which is really what this episode is about. This Freedom Flashback topic is a topic that we're still experiencing. So we don't have all of our answers. And I know probably a lot of grown folks watching this video right now are probably going to be like, child, they don't even know the half of it yet. We probably don't, but this is a space for us to give how we feel right now. My first question for you guys is, now that we are getting older, we are starting to see more of real life and what the world is. Do y'all care for it?
You want me to continue that? Because I can continue that. So hold on, let me get my mustache. Thick eyebrows.
Oh my God.
Opacity on somebody. Okay.
Do y'all care for being older, seeing what the world really is like?
I kind of want to be younger. Like, I'm tired of looking 25. I remember when I used to look 14, but I don't look 14 no more. And now I look 25. Okay, but now I look 25. But you know the scammers in the fucking 59th Street or whatever, by the train stations. And they be like, oh my God, are you like 22, 25? What? What's your favorite animal? This and that. You won't come to the stand, just write down your fucking information. I really looked that bad. The stress really got me that hard. College really got me that bad that I looked 6 years older than I actually look like. And college is not the hardest part. It's not the hardest part because college is to prepare me because like I could see what a lot of these teachers are talking about. They're just not good teachers. Cause also like college not every day. Like literally, I have my own life to live, and that is not my goal. My goal is like college doesn't, which no, college is to prepare you for the fucking what you want to. It's not. Oh yeah, that's the goal. And that's it.
Do you know what I also hate about college professors? When they don't answer your emails, and it's very important.
Talk about it.
Registration for me ended yesterday. There are 2 classes that I need that I have not registered for yet. How am I gonna take these classes? I want to take them now. I don't want to take them next semester because that's just a waste of my time. I want to take them now. I have to do this summer class and then another class I have to take for my fall semester, which I can't take as of now because they're not on my
The major, like they're not required.
my schedule.
My next question for you guys is, do y'all think life would be better if we stayed kids?
I'll put it this way. Society's like, 18 you're an adult. This, that, and the. Are we really? If our brain is not fully developed into like, is it to like 25
It's
or 30?
25 or something.
So it's like, you say
25 is
18.
when you're actually considered a full-on adult. Like,
Yeah, there's like so many rules of like, okay, this is because it changed over time. Like it used to be like, I think it used to be younger, right?
back then, 18, you were seen more as an adult. But now it's like still in the kid box in a way.
Yeah, like they still see us like, oh, you're young. Like,
Shit.
we still have our inner child, but staying as a kid in the rules and stuff, like, no, because we wouldn't be able to go to places that we would. But that's because it has to do with all the fucking rules.
And be able to truly experience life as a kid.
At some point, you are going to be bored of being a kid because when you're a kid, all you're wanting to do is grow up. And when you grow up, you're like, fuck, I want to be a kid again. So I feel like if you stayed a kid our whole life, we wouldn't, live life to the fullest,
I experienced what real life was coming to high school, because high school was the first time that I had to travel to school alone per se, because I always was like a school bus and car kid. So I always had like some type of support, some type of like comfort when going to school. And then my schools were never far away. But then high school now is in Midtown Manhattan and it's an hour and change away. And having to take the train for the first time in my life by myself, because my mom is very overprotective and she never let me ride the train by myself all my life. Having to take the train by myself, having to And then our school had long schedules, so it felt like a 9 to 5. So it was almost as if I was working a 9 to 5 job. And then I had to leave my neighborhood at like 5 something in the morning every day. It wouldn't never quit because I always had a first period. Up until quarantine, of course, because quarantine, we were remote. But I that was part of real life that I had to experience really early at like 14 years old, coming to high school. High school was when I had to experience real life. And and it really made me realize like, wow, like to see everybody, and I meant to say this during our transportation freedom flashback, but to see it's so depressing being on New York City transportation. And this is not to derail it to transportation, but this is just to say that, like, to see that everybody is depending on this and to see the trains be so crowded and to see the conditions, it's like, fuck, like, this is real life for real. Like, it's boring as fuck. And then it's like, wow, people really be working like 8 hours, probably more. Like shit. Like sometimes it's like you really have to shout out to doctors. You really have to shout out for policemen where their job kind of never ends. You know what I mean? Like they have breaks, they have shifts, but that's really about it. Their job practically never ends. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like in certain cases, it's definitely a necessity. It's needed, but it's like, fuck, this is real life. And some days it's really depressing to know that this world is kind of on I like to call it a hamster on a wheel. Like everything is just repeating.
Okay, you brought up a point. Like, I do remember, like, a huge change was, like, 14 years old. Because my freshman, I was crying and because I knew I had to learn a lot of shit that I didn't learn before. And then, like, going to 14, you're taking the train by yourself. I took the train before, like, a bunch of times, the bus with, like, family. And then take the train by myself, and then like you said, it almost went like a 9 to 5 because LaGuardia at that time was heavy at academics. 2017, 2021, they were heavy on academics. I know before it's a different experience for other people that have graduated LaGuardia, but LaGuardia, our time that we were in, it was heavy academics. I did find like time to enjoy myself and stuff like that, but it was definitely like you'll wake up early and go, and then you'll come back home tired as fuck, like and hungry, like and dirty, like and like sweaty. And then when you're talking about like now, it hasn't really changed. The only thing that changes is you learn about taxes and bills because nothing changes from when you're in high school and then transition to college because you still have that child in you. The thing that do change is how people act towards you. That's why I fucking hate people outside are dangerous.
Don't give a fuck about you or your life.
Like that too. There's no praising no more. There's like the kids, like they praise, they internalize a lot of things and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we kind of, I still yearn for like a praise and caring, but not myself. Not only you're probably learning, probably like little kids are learning how to shower themselves or clean their rooms themselves. Bitch, no, that's not only you gotta care about your mental health. You think, oh, my mental health fine, bitch, no, it's not.
My mom told me her first day of college, she was really alone. Like she had to figure out everything on her own. She missed half of her classes because she didn't even know how to get around the campus. Nobody would tell her. She had to find the school map on her own and figure it out. And she didn't want to do all of that. She didn't think she was going to have to do all of that. And like, my mom had to work multiple jobs just to put 4 kids through school. It's another thing that I spoke to Shay about in the first segment, being a mom. First of all, New York, it's convenient, but it's expensive as fuck. And it's like to have to pay, like she was telling me about the issues of even affording childcare for her son. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking difficult. I'm not surprised that a lot of these adults are miserable.
I feel like the adult life has to fucking change. I don't know how the fuck that's gonna happen, but why the fuck am I happy as more at ease? Yes, I went through struggles as like in middle school and high school, like there's something of that could change. But it's worse now. It's like really bad. Like I still have my headache that I've been having a headache for like a full probably like 2 weeks. Like I still have it right now, and it's like, is there a better way to do this? Because like you said, the hamster on the wheel. That's how they treat us. It's like modern slavery. It's like it's given very much that I was born to just work. Like I was born to just, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Make money, have kids, and die.
I haven't really lived an adult life because, like,
Obviously, yeah, I know.
the only thing that's different is I got a job and I go to college.
That
Like, I
literally
don't
what
pay
it
no
is.
bills.
Probably will have to
Here's
soon.
what it-
I would give is don't look back. Don't look back. Don't look back. Because when you look back on the past, you're gonna be like, you're kind of like gonna get into a state. You're gonna get into a state where I don't know. I honestly don't know
No,
what I'm talking.
I know what you're saying. Like you can look back, but don't be stuck on it. I
Yeah,
was talking to one of my friends about this. She was like, she's been in this toxic relationship for like 3 years, and she's graduated. She feel like she gotta move on. She feel like she gotta go because this is a new chapter in her life, and she don't want to worry about any of that shit. And that's why, like, what you're talking about, like, don't. Let's go. We gotta move on. We gotta focus on the present, and we can still do it. Like I'm not giving up. Like I'm still. That's why I'm like it has to change, and it is like it doesn't mean I'm gonna make like oh my god like I'm gonna get rid of job this and that. I would change for me because that's the only thing I can control right now, and I'm gonna enjoy it with my friends, and I'm gonna do my best to get my insecurities out the fucking way because the whole 25 shit, the whole like like I really don't care right now that my belly is out. Like I really want to wear the things that I was so happy of wearing in high school because I still feel like a kid.
Let me tell you something. 4-year-old me wanted to be famous. And now that I'm on the road of becoming a celebrity and on the road of being in the industry and on the road of doing so many things for myself, which is going to happen, the only thing that I see in my life is music. Like I only see my career. Music for me is what really kept my life going all this time. I know that it's what's going to keep it going in the future. I don't know why music was brought about, but I know what it does for me. I know what it does for the people I love. I know what it does for the people I care about. I want to serve not only as a role model, but as a purpose. Like I want to serve as a purpose to not even trying to sound cliche or narcissistic, but as a purpose for some people to live. You know what I mean? Some people thrive off of watching others. And I want to be an inspiration to say, look, we don't know what life is right now at all. Okay. I've had a sick parent for a decade plus years. I'm growing up in the projects. I am still trying to figure myself out in all types of ways. And I don't have answers. And like Elizabeth said, we came out of college crawling. And I had it easier out of everybody. And I'm not afraid to say that. I had it easier out of everybody when it came to college. But we still all came out crawling. Because let me tell you something, my tuition that I got to pay a loan, something we're not even going to get into right now. Trust me, we came out crawling. But you really can't do nothing but move on and try. I do believe that there is a reason for all of us to be on this planet. We just have to figure it out. Because to be honest with you, I'm still asking questions. Like I'm 19, I'm still gonna ask, and I promise y'all, when I'm 30 and 40, I'm still gonna ask more questions. Like it's nothing's gonna be different. Because of this episode, we were talking about so many serious topics.
Serious is like weird to jump into.
Just jump into freedom fun. Yeah, I kind of wanted this episode to be more of the choices we were making and more focused on the struggle, just to show that everything's not always freedom fun. The world exists. Unfortunately, things happen and all that glitters isn't gold. So I wanted to focus this episode more on how we can make choices for ourselves. And I just felt like because of the climate of how the country is now and stuff, everything kind of just coincidentally fell into place for this episode. So thank you guys for joining.
Welcome, meow meow.
Stay tuned for me because we got so much more music and stuff in plan. Stay tuned for the next episode. And I love y'all. I think that is it. I think we're going to end it right then and there. So yeah, y'all got all talks this episode, but we're going to be right back the next episode with some more fuck shit. So, all right.
Not having it, the mustache on the.
Wait, don't go anywhere. In order to stay tuned with everything else that I am going to be doing as far as content and music is concerned, follow my Instagram at FreedomSavage26. Also, there will be a link in the description below that'll help you guys stay tuned specifically for the music that I am going to be putting out soon. I know that the podcast ended a little short today, but I wanted to make sure that I give you guys this heads up. That way you guys could look forward to everything that I have to share. Thank you.
Procrastination meets imperfection. Am I heading in the right direction? I just wanna lay down, but if I lay down now